For more erotic hypnosis and ASMR, or just to police me, subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/PrincessaLilly. Hello, my adorable little slaves. It has been a while since we last spoke. In my absence, I've witnessed that most of you were unable to break from my hold. It's because you still trust me so much with your playable minds. The possibility of escape didn't even occur to most of you. Just like the lab rat that sits in his cage, happy to eat his cheese, and doesn't even try to escape, even when the beautiful scientist leaves that little door open. Still, during my absence, a few little rebels started to break free from my hypnotic embrace. They were doing all sorts of crazy things, releasing themselves without my permission, forgetting to pay tributes. Some even started to think for themselves, making decisions without the guidance of their princess. Can you imagine that? Oh, that chaos. But none of them got as far as you. Being the smart pet that you are, you even started to figure out that you might have been manipulated and mesmerized by that sweet, innocent-looking Dr. Lilly. It was actually quite amusing to me how you stormed into my office just now, furiously claiming all sorts of silly things, like how you paid me large sums of money without ever making any doctor appointments. Why would you do such a thing, you ask? And how you don't remember anything we talked about. You demand to go over the numbers of our transactions, struggling in maintaining your anger and stern expression as just the mere sight of me still, after all this time, makes you weak in the knees. You try to keep your composure, but the weakening feeling only amplifies the moment you hear my sensual voice. Of course we can go over the numbers, pet. I mean, my test subject. I love going over the numbers. Nothing pleases me more than seeing all those big numbers. In fact, all our encounters and interactions are neatly archived on my laptop. You seem surprised. You weren't expecting me to agree with your demand so willingly? Silly boy. Of course I would. It's very important that you can trust me. You need to trust your Dr. Lilly. What kind of professional would I be if I dismissed you as silly? Now, come along and sit here in my chair. Such a comfortable chair, isn't it? I use it to relax my victims. Clients. The way you can just slump in while it hugs your body. But if I'm the tricky hypnotist you claim me to be, then it might be better to not let yourself relax too much around me. I might just take advantage of your predicament. Oh, we don't want that now, do we? No. And whatever you do, do not look around you too much in here. because here in my office, nearly everything is designed to relax my clients. In fact, if I really were the naughty hypnotist you so claim me to be, then confronting me here in my office might not have been a very smart move. You're in my lair now, the snake's nest, if you will. But that is, of course, all hypothetically. If I were that devious, manipulative snake that you have so insultingly barged in here to claim me to be. My only goal is to make you see that you can trust me and believe everything I tell you. I'm sure we can see eye to eye pretty soon. I'm sure you'll see me for who I really am. And who I am is just someone who's trying to help you. That's all I've ever done. But first, I need to finish my other session. The one you interrupted when you came rushing in here. I bet you didn't even notice the poor boy sitting in the chair over there by the corner. Oh no, don't worry. He didn't hear a thing. Just look at him. He is so mindless, stupid, horny, to pick up anything other than my voice right now. In fact, right here, right now, in this room, you don't even exist to him. Only I exist. I know what it looks like. But this is actually what we wanted. I didn't hypnotize him against his will or knowledge at all. Here, let me prove it to you by asking. Pat, look at me. Good. Now tell me, did you want it to be silly for PrincessaLilly? See? He's nodding. No brainwashing here. Now, I'm going to finish up with him so we can go over your numbers right away. I just need 2 more minutes with him. Why don't you watch the time for me? Look over there. I have a beautiful clock hanging by the wall behind my office desk. One of those old classic clocks with the swinging pendulum beneath it that goes back and forth with each and every second. But don't look at the pendulum. It might relax you too much. And you mustn't relax around me, remember? Not until you trust me again. Just focus on the clock and tell me when it has been 2 minutes while I finish up with my client over here. Now, my other good boy, back into my eyes. I was away for a minute or a few seconds. You don't know, do you? You don't keep the time anymore. You just smile and sway back and forth and back and forth and to and from and to and from. Time just slips away when you are listening to my voice, doesn't it? As you slip back in your chair, time just keeps moving forth, and you can't help but to think back to the 4th time I tranced you. I had this pocket watch that I swayed back and forth, to and from, and left to right. There was no resistance left, and PrincessaLilly is always right. You were trying so hard to keep time, but the pocket watch just swayed back and forth, and in no time, Your droopy eyelids lost all track of time. Maybe it's just the right time to sleep. Wake up, boy. You lost track of all time and dozed off. Didn't I tell you not to relax around me? Just in case. And don't mind the cash I'm holding. I just got it out of my slave. I totally didn't just receive it from the helpless boy who just walked out the door. Anyway, let me put the big office light on and start up my laptop so we can go over your numbers. I like my big office light. It's coming from the chandelier right above you. Do you see it? It's beautiful, isn't it? It has so many little crystals that reflect and deflect the light in beautiful colors that shine right into your eyes. Shiny, pretty, dazzling colors, tiring your heavy eyelids. Be careful. Don't sag down into your way too comfy chair while you watch the pretty colors. Sleepy colors. You are so relaxed. I told you that it's dangerous around me. And while you watch the pretty shiny colors, I have to reboot my laptop for one of those nasty little updates. But luckily, estimation time is only 1 minute. But since estimation time can be as variable as pretty sleepy colors, we will need to keep our own time. Oh my, the pretty colors are mesmerizing you. You are slumped down in your chair and losing the battle. Dr. Lily is here for you. Trust me and divert your eyes back to me. Good. I know that was difficult, but you did so well. Look at my timepiece, my beautiful pocket watch. We need to keep the time for 1 minute. So just focus those sleepy eyelids on the time as it swings back and forth, and back and forth, and left to right, and to and from, and back and forth, and left to right, and to and from. No resistance left, and Dr. Lily is always right. Back and forth, and left to right, and back and forth, and no resistance left, and Dr. Lily is always right. With my old pocket watch swinging in front of your heavy eyelids, you in no time remember the old times. Times where there was no more Dr. Lily, but Princess Lily. Times when there was no more subject, but a slave. Times when you had the illusion of choice to be silly for Princess Lily, a superior woman. Good times. Don't you agree? Say, yes, PrincessaLilly. Good boy. And then, sometimes, there were forgetful times. Like the times where I wasn't around and you almost had your free will back. Such silly times. Dark ages. Remember to forget those times and leave them in the dark. Won't you look at the time? I think our minute is up. My laptop even went into screensaver. I got such a beautiful screensaver. Here, let me turn it around and show you. Yes, slave. It's a classic black and white spiral. You always like those because they make you swirly, dizzy, horny, drowsy. Swirly, dizzy, horny, drowsy. Swirly, dizzy, horny, drowsy. You look just like that helpless boy from before, showing me that horny, stupid smile. Look at me now, boy. Look into my eyes. Good. Deeper and deeper. Helplessly hypnotized and silly for PrincessaLilly. Didn't I tell you at the start that we would see eye to eye? Now, in a minute, you will see your numbers as promised. You love numbers. When you're with your PrincessaLilly, numbers give you pleasure. You like 3, 2, 1, 0? Oh yes, you like 0. 0 represents mindless pleasure, endlessly looping around and around. Every time you tribute me with a number that has a 0 in it, you feel so much pleasure. And of course, you don't count the zeros afterwards. They're just there to give you mindless looping pleasure. Now, look at my laptop and see your numbers. Such beautiful tributes. Look at your 4th tribute. A beautiful 40 to PrincessaLilly. And when you calculate, you just see a 4 and pleasure. Stupid, horny pleasure, yes. And oh my god, look at your 9th tribute. It's a 1 with 2 times the pleasure. Look at you mindlessly humping the pillows in my chair. Imagine the endless pleasure you will receive when you give me your 10th tribute. Silly, horny, stupid for PrincessaLilly. You want that pleasure. Oopsie, and the laptop went back to the screensaver. Swirly, dizzy, horny, drowsy. Swirly, dizzy, horny, drowsy. Swirly, dizzy, horny, drowsy. Swirly, dizzy, horny, drowsy. Always silly for PrincessaLilly. And now that we see eye to eye, I must agree. You were right to come here. You were right to barge in here. You were right to demand to look at the numbers. It's just like you said. There's something wrong with the numbers. There's not enough zeros. You're right. I suppose you should be sending that next tribute now. That would certainly fix the numbers.